Another day, another shareholder letter. There's some interesting things that I've been picking up on my research, going way back in time to 2021. And if we zoom in here, let's zoom in, see if you guys can you even read it. Okay, we're nice and zoomed in here. And here's my Word document. I've been keeping track of everything. I'm taking notes, writing myself little lines to say, like, this is going to be my opener. First of all, I would like to congratulate you on everything you have accomplished so far with Ilus. I read the very first shareholder letter, and you have truly come a long way in expanding the manufacturing capacity and global footprint of Ilus, and not pigeonholing the company into fire and rescue. And then from there, I can proceed to ask him a ton of questions, of course. And you can see, I'm writing down the date of the shareholder letters and anything, and then the questions underneath. So here's another shareholder letter. And if there are any questions I need to ask, I will write them underneath. And I'm going to do this for pretty much every shareholder letter, which is, again, a lot. I don't think Buffalo Fireside Chats went back in time because he's the kind of guy, he's kind of like the Discord. Who wants to look at the past? I like looking at the past. History is pretty important. We learn history. So we got to look at everything. I mean, history can reveal patterns, which is why, more than anything, why I'm looking back in time. But I know some of you, especially the guy this Discord that's watching this, you're shaking right now because I was actually, now I'm serious. I'm going to look back in time. I'm going to look at 2022, 2023, 2024. Going to come up with a whole Word document of questions, and we go from there. Shareholder structure. I'm zoomed in on this part because this part is interesting. Again, this is from 4/5/2021. 3 months after the initial shareholder meeting that caused it to go 1,000%. With the share structure, our goal has always been to maintain a tight and liquid share structure for our shareholders. The company did not permit or authorize the converting of any stock. Last Sunday, we released a copy of the OTC report, which showed there was no dilution. But after becoming current, there was an old restricted certificate holder we now know was permitted to convert by the TA. This was done 100% without our authorization. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that we keep getting dilution? Since back then we were getting dilution, and they always blame it on someone else. Hey, it was these people we didn't know, and then it was a seller. We identified them, and we worked out a deal. Like it's kind of very similar, and this is way back in 2021, and they're still pulling that kind of stuff off in 2020. What was it, late 2023, early 2024? That's pretty insane. Our legal team immediately went to work. Their investigation discovered that in the past years, an automatic conversion agreement had been signed. I apologize profusely and assure you that we were not aware of these agreements when we posted about dilution. We were beyond disappointed and very annoyed at the situation after we worked so hard to become current with our aggressive plans to buy back shares. You can believe we did not want more being issued, and here we are yet 2 years later. And they issued like crazy, increased the authorized shares, and I would not be surprised if they do it again. No, did they ever even buy back shares? We'll see in the future as we go through these. No one in the current company has sold any shares, and none of us intend to. Our entire financing agreement was set up to avoid dilution. Well, that turned out to be false. 2 years later, we are in the process of preparing ourselves both financially and regulatory for a share buyback, and we anticipate this commencing this quarter. You know what's interesting here? The Ilus coin, what happened to that? Ilus is not a crypto company and does not have licenses for crypto, nor does it intend to become a crypto company. The opportunity around crypto is simply too big to ignore. To be clear, we are not a crypto company and do not intend to be one, but we do intend to leverage every opportunity that adds value to our shareholders and customers. The Ilus token strategy is incredibly unique. Incredibly unique. Yeah, maybe that's why it's not around anymore. I don't know what happened to the Ilus coin. Does anyone hold share Ilus coins right now? We have not found any company that has done anything similar, and we are beyond excited to roll it out. Here's another shareholder letter. This one's from 10 days later. Dilution update. We wish to confirm that insiders have not sold a single share. Do not have plans any of it doing. Yeah, I'm not doing anything like that. There have been no change to the outstanding shares since the last update. Only a small 7.5 million conversion has now taken place from restricted to non-restricted. We have previously spoken to the party who converted it and can confirm they are a private couple, and they did notify us 2 months ago that they would likely like to convert at some stage in the near future. Man, what is up with that? So for 2 years, for basically since 2021, these Ibis has had people who sell, like they have apparently families who parties. We have previously spoken to the party who converted. This reminds me of, this is again the same thing as a couple of months ago, right? Where Alice came out with a letter saying, "Hey, we spoke with the seller and we came up with a deal." So this has been going on for quite a while. It makes me wonder what's going on. Like, is there just a bunch of people who have ILIS, like huge amounts of ILIS shares, and then they just dump it, or are they lying and they're just coming up with a make believe seller, and it's really just themselves, and they're just disguising it as someone else dumping? That would be interesting. But yeah, only a small 7.5 million conversion. Not that that matters. Not that that matters. Not, we're in the future now. We know that doesn't even matter. They still ended up diluting like crazy. If they have been diluting, we could assume that their position must be nearly sold out. This is not a fact, but an assumption. Yeah, sure, buddy. The unexpected dilution last month did not help, but we believe we have stopped that bleeding and managed the situation, and hopefully it should be complete or near to complete, and no further drastic changes are expected. Wow, you were way wrong. It keeps happening. These sellers there's just a bunch of sellers out there with eyeless shares, and then they just come out of nowhere and dump the stock, and then we see that reflected in the share price. And then obviously the eyeless discord sends a bunch of emails going, "Hey, you stupid dick link, why is this going down? Why isn't it going up?" Well, it looks like this has been happening since 2021. Since 2021, this has been happening, where we get just unexpected dumps. We believe that we have stopped the bleeding. That's the second. We've heard this before. We've heard this recently. We believe that we have stopped that bleeding and managed the situation. They said the exact same thing not too long ago, if you guys recall. Isn't that interesting? We're going back in time and we're seeing, like I said, history is pretty important. It can reveal patterns. Since 2021, they've just been using that same excuse. Oh, the stock dumped because there's just some shareholders out there that have large amounts of shares and they just started dumping now, and we were not aware of them, but we identified the seller, and we think the bleeding has stopped. It's an assumption, not a fact, but congratulations, shareholders. We're still going to continue to dilute you. Isn't that interesting? So that's something to take note of. I'm going to write that down on my Word document right now because that is interesting to know. That is very interesting to know. This is why I said, guys, I'm gonna. You got to go back in time. Looking at history reveals patterns. So, what did we learn from reading that? They have a history of you know I don't know what to call it. I'll just write history of sudden, even though it's not sudden, but sudden dumps not known to Ilis company. And then they make the claim that they believe that the bleeding has stopped. I might have to start taking pictures and putting the pictures, actually. That's probably a good idea, right? Because then people are, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm probably going to do that. I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to take lots of pictures of all the times they said something that might be interesting to keep an eye on and go back to. So I'm going to do that right now. That's it for the video, guys. I'll see you in the next one, but I'm going to go and take pictures of everything I've learned so far from these shareholder letters. Yeah, I'm going to take like little snippets of paragraphs and just paste them into the Word document. Might as well, right? Just for reference, for my sake at that point.